Why fake Muslim names have become the latest tool for criminals.
Take a look at these two photos. At the first glance, you would think that these crimes of sending threats to blow up Kumbh Mela or Ram Mandir have been committed by Muslims. But you're being misled.
आपको गलतफहमी हो रहा है.
When the police investigated, the culprits in both these cases didn't have Muslim names. मतलब दाल में कुछ काला ही नहीं, पूरी दाल ही काली है. But why is this important and has it become a pattern? This is where the Quint looked into the worrying trend of some individuals impersonating Muslims, creating fake accounts or email IDs to commit crimes, making threats and spreading hateful content. And these instances have consequences. But before I give you some examples, doing such reports on communalism and hate crimes is one of our key focus areas. And to continue doing these reports and videos, we need your help. Become a member and support our Uncovering Hate project. Case 1, and the latest in this pattern was when Nasir Pathan, or really a 17-year-old Ayush Jaiswal, made up a fake social media profile and threatened to carry out a bomb blast, killing at least 1,000 devotees at the gathering. Rajesh Dwivedi, SSP Kumbh Mela, told the Quint, and I quote, "Shararat mein kiya hoga usne, he had got into some conflict with a fellow classmate." In his case, the police and the cyber cell tracked his IP address and found out that he belonged to Bihar's Purnia district and was then apprehended. But can this be brushed off as a harmless case when there's evidence of many such cases taking place over the years?
Identity theft is not a joke, Jim. Millions of families suffer every year.
Delhi University professor Apurva Anand said that this is part of an old tactic of Hindutva organizations. He told the Quint, and I quote, "Earlier too, in many cases that involved a carcass or a meat being thrown in front of temples, it was found to be done by Hindutva people impersonating as Muslims to defame them." So this is not new, but now what has happened is that with the explosion of social media, it has spread like wildfire and people do it because they think they'll have immunity. Case 2. Devendra Tiwari, a Lucknow resident, announced on social media on 27 December 2023 that a man named Zubair Khan had sent him an email threatening to kill him, Uttar Pradesh Chief Minister Yogi Adityanath and Additional Director General of Police Amitabh Yash. This email that you see on your screen is laced with incendiary, hateful language against them, blaming them for making life hell for Muslims. To add more masala, the last lines of the email read, "I swear on Allah that they will be tortured and killed. ISI takes full responsibility for this." Tiwari has had one more e-encounter with another Khan in November 2023 when he claimed that he received a threatening email along similar lines from a man named Alam Ansari Khan. But there's more to it than meets the eye. A few days after the bomb threat, STF arrested two men who had sent the emails, neither of them being Muslims. Their names were Tahar Singh and Om Prakash Mishra. The damage is already done. Now, is this harmless? No, not really. The motivation behind this is deeply rooted in perpetuating communal tensions and to further isolate Muslims in an already polarized society. When advocate Anas Tanveer spoke to the Quint, he said that it's not just about creating suspicion, but also an attempt to weaponize communal biases and reinforce stereotypes to portray Muslims as violent or anti-national. He said, and I quote, "This tactic is particularly insidious because it not only harms the direct victim of the threat, but also vilifies an entire community. It reflects the growing normalization of Islamophobia, where associating Muslims with crime or violence is a calculated political tool." Also, what's interesting is that Tiwari was the one who made the two accused, Tahar and Om Prakash, send those emails. But Tiwari was not arrested and continues to be active on social media. When we questioned the police about this, Pramesh Kumar Shukla, the Deputy Superintendent of Police UP-STF, said, and I quote, "Our locus was to work out the case and make the arrest. The district courts are looking into it. As for Devendra Tiwari, he was absconding at that time. We did our job and figured out the conspiracy. Now it's up to the local police stations where the case was filed." Moreover, Karen Rebello, the deputy editor of the fact-checking website Boom, said that a perception is already created through these instances and people call the perpetrator Muslim. But even after the fake news is debunked, it does not gather the same reach or visibility or audience as the initial post does. Hence, the damage is already done. Case 3. Next in line is this guy. Meet Dhirendra Raghav. An Agra resident, he disguised himself as Muslim, and mind you, in the stereotypical attire wearing a skull cap and kajal. With this impersonation, he made hateful videos, even once abusing Hindus.
दोगले हिंदुओं, बच गए तुम लोग इस बार.
He was arrested in June 2024 but was released shortly after. He still posts pro-Sanatani and pro-Hindu content, dresses up as Muslim, but now he dances to a Bollywood song. Case 4. The emails to Ambani. A BCom student, Rajveer Khan, had tried running an extortion racket under a Muslim-sounding name. Using a fake email ID by the name of Shadab Khan, he demanded hundreds of crores. He signed off with the line, "Catch me if you can." And boy, was he caught. He had masked his IP address using a VPN, but because he made a rookie mistake of using a trial version instead of a purchased one. This helped the police nab him from Kalol in Gujarat. While there have been many more such incidents in the past few years, we must ask, what can be done? Can there be a strong deterrent? For these answers and more details of these cases, head to our website and read the story.